The MF Empire podcast is brought to you by MaxFit Meals. With over 30 meal selections to choose from, MaxFit Meals is the premier meal prep company on the planet. Choose from breakfast, lunch, and dinner delivered directly to your door on your schedule. And right now you can get 20% off at maxfitmeals.com when you use coupon code MFEmpire. MaxFit Meals, food that fuels your passions. Welcome to the MF Empire podcast, where we help business professionals and leaders like you take your business to the next level. In each episode, we bring you expert insights and practical advice on how to grow your business, increase revenue, become a better leader, and achieve your goals. Whether you're just starting out or you're looking to expand your existing business, this podcast is for you. Join us as we explore the latest trends, strategies, and tools to help you succeed in today's competitive marketplace. Let's get started on your journey to business growth. Now, here are your hosts, Chris Spencer and Brian Meek. Chris, how are you doing today?
Brian, I'm doing amazing. Thank you for asking, man. How are you doing today?
I am enjoying what the day has brought to me today, pre-recording. So cool. We got a lot of stuff done. It's always nice when you feel like you get a lot of stuff done throughout the day,
Sure.
So today is episode 15 of
the MF Empire podcast.
And today we're going to talk about understanding your customer. I think this is the thing that really will help businesses grow that are, just starting out, or even if you're an established business, making sure that you understand who your customer is. We're going to debunk some myths. We're going to give some people some great tips on, how to find their customers, their ideal customers. We're going to give it a name. We're going to do all the things for you, except for put in the work for your business. Those are the things that you're going to have to do. So before we kind of get into the nitty gritty of how to understand your customer, today we were talking with an employee.
Sure.
And what we were witnessing on the cameras while we were, having a conversation with the employee in the office was what we consider is our ideal customer base, right?
Sure.
So for MaxFit, kind of give everybody an understanding of what the ideal customer base kind of looks like. They're all different, obviously, but
I had multiple iterations of that same conversation, right? Like following the meeting, same topic came up. So the ideal demographic for MaxFit is somebody that has, more expendable income than they do time, and that's where we kind of key ourselves in, at least for MaxFit Meals.
Right.
Also, somebody who's into personal development, maintaining a healthy lifestyle. And it's always been our narrative to fuel your passions. So whether you're working out, whether you're a race car driver, or you're just trying to be the best EMT, we want to give you the resources at a fast, premium, convenient model that gets any tools in terms of nutrition into your hands to get you to that point. And that's kind of people that fall into the need for that.
Right.
That those needs are our key demographic. And
maybe kind of go through how the demographic has changed over time, because it's not that wasn't always the key demographic.
I mean, before this podcast, I was putting together framing an article in a local weekly circular, Monterey County Weekly is the name. Basically states that I started out at a shop for meatheads. People wanted to get big. People trying to put an inch on the biceps. Creatine.
Right.
Colors were aggressive red, diamond plate, and that was our demographic. Was typically single males that want to get jacked and hit the gym and bench press and deadlift as much as possible. So over the years, we've kept, as I've changed, which the article also states, that's not my goal right now. My goal is to live a bit like a busy life. I choose a busy life, multiple businesses, busy personal life, busy with my cars, busy most importantly with my family. I want to have the energy and the recovery I needed. And a lot of people that are shopping with us now kind of fall in the same demographic.
Right.
Similar to yourself, you and I, like busy, we want a quick meal.
Right.
We don't want to, we don't want all the side effects as I age. I don't want the indigestion from a bunch of junk food or anything like that. And I know what,
or the guilt. I mean, there's a lot of other things that go along with it mentally.
It's breaking agreements you have.
Right.
We have with each other.
Right.
Ourselves. Meaning like,
I'm going to lose weight today.
Yeah, right. And you go, it feels temporarily feels good, and
then you did self-defeating.
Sure,
right?
Yeah, dehydrates you, and just all the side effects, and similar to like boozing. Like you'll find that anyone who works for MaxFit, whether they like it or not, they have a pretty cool, whether they appreciate it or not, they have a pretty cool demographic that comes into their store. There's firemen, there's cops. We watched, a post office lady come in There was a
business,
nurse
like
before that.
somebody
There
that
was
worked in an office.
Yeah, there was a
business lady.
nurse.
Nurse, yeah.
Yeah, and then there was some high school kids, but these high school kids are obviously, their trajectory is not to go hit Taco Bell down the street from the high school, but to,
Right.
you know,
Make their way down to MaxFit.
right.
Yeah, so I mean, I had a conversation with a husband and a wife, a couple that are that do shop with us, do shop at MaxFit.
Thank you.
They go to primarily Salinas. They were excited about the new Marina store opening up, but they are that ideal client. They're the ideal avatar. The wife is a teacher, doesn't have time. She's got 2 young kids. They're all
Sure.
over the world. The husband works in ag. Again, 2 young kids. He's up early. He works a lot, and ag sales is demanding
Sure.
job. So we fit that need for them where they're like, hey, we would love to cook at home, but we don't always get the opportunity.
I'll give you a great example too. Last night, my amazing wife Carla, I was in Marina, so she normally goes to Monterey, picks up the kids. I volunteered to do it. She says, "Let me go home and cook you a meal." Awesome, thank you. So gladly I went and pick up the kids. I come home and after it was all said and done, the quick 15-minute meal, she was in the kitchen till 9 o'clock.
Right.
The kids still have homework.
Right. And then
So
there's the cleanup.
that was the thing. She was cleaning up
Right.
till 9. She still
Right.
got laundry to do.
Right.
I got my task list for sweeping the house. And, the kids have showers.
Sure.
And all the daily grind that everybody that has that our parents
Right.
that they will acknowledge. And that's really where we fit in now.
That's where we're giving people their time.
Yes,
back. Right.
it gives
We're
you a
selling
little bit of time. And,
Right.
and her food was very, very good. But, it's just as enjoyable sometimes to, have some of our new, chicken cauliflower nachos and hang
Sure.
out with the family and
Right, that
Yeah.
hour and
Sure.
a half that you got back is much more
Sure.
valuable than the meal itself. Right.
like it or not. I mean, a lot of people like to complain, but that's just the way it is in America. Two parent households, incomes, and
Still busy.
still busy. And
Right.
as you can attest to, Brian, I can too. I mean, it feels like yesterday when my kids were running around, climbing the tables and
Right.
and changing poopy diapers, and that is quickly going away. And for me, I would rather invest in my healthy food, right? But also invest some time with my children.
Right,
give
'cause
them
you don't
life.
get that back.
No, you never get it back.
Right. So we're going to talk about, what we identify as the ideal client avatar, and what that really means is like, who is your ideal client? And we just gave you some perfect examples of who we feel like the ideal clients are for MaxFit. For me personally, for Meek Marketing, my ideal client is a business owner with not disposable income that has a revenue over a specific amount, because I want to make sure that they can afford to invest in marketing and not only my services, but the other costs that are associated with marketing. You understand the ad costs and things like that.
And I'm assuming it's somebody who has the tenacity to stick with it.
Right. Somebody that wants to grow. Somebody
Those
that
are the
wants-
probably
right.
rare client
Right.
that understands the full scope of marketing.
And they fit in a certain age range. They fit in a certain, I'm not saying man over women or women over men, but what we're talking about when we talk about an avatar is you want to name this person. You want to get down and say, Susie is a nurse that works 12-hour days, that doesn't have time to cook. She's obviously, she's making over, let's just throw a number out there, $80,000 a year. So she has the money to pay for the food. I'm not saying that if you'd make less than that, you don't. I'm just using this as an example.
We're pinpointing your clients in the marketing side of
Right,
things.
right.
For us, right?
Right.
So is that
Yeah,
something
exactly.
you'd help me?
Like if I'm
identify,
working,
right?
if I'm going to work with Chris, I'm going to say, hey,
And that's the beauty of you.
Right.
You're not just okay, let's film something and throw it out there.
No.
You're full service.
that way I can craft a
we
message
can-
for Susie, the nurse. Her message is going to be slightly different than, Bobby, the construction worker who works 12-hour days.
Yeah, I just want to clarify that because I believe that's what separates you from other people.
Thank you.
I could easily go, hey man, I need some videos and I want on social media. All right, cool.
Video-
Not completely
Right.
not qualifying what I'm looking for, not having a deep understanding.
Right.
You take the time.
Right.
Not a 2-minute consultation, but you'll understand the avatar.
And how many times have we done this exercise over the last 5 years? I mean, we continue to do this
Yeah,
exercise
and
because the people evolve and they
Evolve.
change. We have a great understanding of who it is, but
going back to, it's like that first store in the early, like you wouldn't see very few females
Right.
scared. I mean,
Right.
not that there was anything to be scared of, but it was just not their type.
Intimidating.
Intimidating is
Right.
a better word. Never saw a senior unless they got lost or something. Now, man, you literally have senior citizens that
Right.
order our food on a daily basis. So thanks to Brian's help at Meek Marketing, and I do feel like Meek Marketing and our work together, and we've evolved together, and I think we have a lot to do with each other's success, in terms
Right.
of our companies,
Absolutely.
et cetera. The fact that he's still around today is because he took the time, and we learned together, right? And now this is like he's rip roaring to bring that
Right.
to other
the world.
businesses.
Right.
It actually
That's what this is about.
already is, right? But I think it's really important for me to stress the importance of the 360s of a business and how complicated it is without having that key demographic. We're talking about cops, firemen, nurses. Those are all people that are, in a sense, recession proof, right?
Right.
And if you build your house on concrete as opposed to sand,
It's going to last.
it's going to last longer. So you can ride the waves of your COVID. And I think we have spent a lot of time and energy, and I know Brian can attest to this. He spent a lot of his own time developing, and I think you're going to explain now how he does this, but targeting certain people.
Right.
And I put the money behind it and the consistent money.
Right. And you see the results. The
Yeah,
results are
because
there.
it's the numbers.
Or else you wouldn't put the money behind it.
No, well, you know how cheap I am. If anyone knows me,
But the numbers are there. The trajectory of the business over time
Sure.
has continued to go up.
Sure.
Because we do these things. It's not just
No, it's not even cheap. We're not the type of business that wastes money. We're very low tolerance for wasting money.
results are required when it comes to any type of investment.
So how did we get that demographic?
the way we got
How do I keep the people coming in?
The way we did it was we did some surveys. I mean, we're blessed in the fact that you have people that walk through the door. If you're not that type of business, you just have to think, well, who's the typical person that does business with me? If you're a contractor that's building new homes, is it the lawyer that's spending money with you? Is it the teacher? Who are these people? What jobs do they do? Kind of coming up. You don't have to ask them flat out like how much money do you make, but kind of come up with an idea. If they can afford you as a contractor, if they can afford you as a esthetician, if you're somebody that does skin work, or you're a beauty, you work in the beauty industry or whatever, it doesn't matter. Who shops with you? Who already spends money with you? Who is patronizing your business? What do they do? How old are they? What are they? Male, female? Are they? Do they have kids? Are they married? Are they single? Are they students? Ask every single question to yourself. And what I'm gonna do is I have a worksheet that I use to do this with businesses. I'm gonna actually put it into the link in the show notes for the podcast, and it'll be in the link on the video as well, so that you can actually download the worksheet. You can work on this yourself. You could just literally, it's super easy, and you name the person, and then you now have Susie and Bobby. Susie's 34-year-old nurse, and Bobby's the 45-year-old construction worker, and those are my two avatars. And I have to talk to Susie different than I talk to Bobby. And you go through these exercises of who they are, what they do, how much money they make, what books do they read, what movies do they watch, how do they spend their spare time, do they have kids, what do their kids do? You have to ask all of these super detailed questions, because in the end, when you go to spend money to go find Susie's cousin, Stacy, that is the same person, you need to have that information, because it makes the targeting of, in today's digital marketing world, so much easier if you know exactly who you're talking to. A lot of people will say, we sell food. Well, who do we sell food to? Well, everybody eats food. That's not necessarily the case. Not everybody is a good client for meal prep,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
So we want to make sure we talk to that person.
You basically construct campaigns around all that data.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so you're not wasting money going after the wrong people.
Right.
So and like in marketing, it's especially with social media and online marketing, which is the bulk of our marketing. And
Right.
I could say, if you're a business owner, should be probably the bulk of your marketing. Should be on social.
It's too easy now.
But then why would you put Burger King? We're selling.
Right.
Right. It doesn't make sense, right? Like everyone knows that,
a when the Burger King customer becomes a health person, that's when they get targeted.
Sure.
In this instance.
Sure.
When the person that's renting an apartment is ready to buy a house and you're a realtor, that's when they
Sure.
become your customer. They when they're ready. That doesn't necessarily mean they're out there shopping. That means that they've already started to think about, I want to buy a house. They're starting to develop and show the behaviors through social media. They're on realtor.com. They're watching the DIY network. They're liking things, remodel accounts.
Sure.
That's when they're starting to show the behaviors. And then boop, your real estate agent pops up. You show up in front of them. Hey, you want to buy a house? I'm the perfect person. I get to walk you through all those steps. This is the first thing you need to do. You need to become pre-qualified. Blah 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 blah. You become the expert. You're the first person that they see. Yeah, their cousin, their next door neighbor, whoever's a realtor, but you're starting to become the person that they see as the expert. I make businesses impossible to ignore. Would you say that that's
sure.
I mean, where can you go? Max fits everywhere at this point.
Sure.
Because we've become impossible to ignore. That's what we do.
That being said, Brian finds the right places, and you have to be
right.
If you choose to work with Brian, you have to be willing to spend some money. You got to break the bread to make the money.
It's not
and it takes some chutzpah, it takes some guts,
right.
Some cojones, however you want to say it, to continually to spend month after month after month, spend gutsy money.
Right.
And sometimes, for me, I was kind of like a break-even point. If there was a point years ago where this stuff started to hit in my mind. I don't even know if I expressed it to you, Brian, but I'm like, man, this is working. I need to spend a lot of money. I need to up it. I need to be uncomfortable with the amount of money I'm spending. And even if I break even, I know it'll pay.
Right.
And we haven't been. We're got another store open, our third location, thanks to like the attention on the brand. People are hyped. We're getting emails that the city is like saying, when's the,
right.
going for permits. When are you guys opening? Like,
right.
I'm blessed, man.
Right.
Pinch myself.
Right.
And that's because you're able to control the narrative, right? Like the news, whatever, like that's important. The newspapers, they've been keys to marketing for hundreds of years, newspapers, TV. hundreds of years, TV last 80 years, whatever. But this is the thing where I can actually tell the story, what I'm about.
Right.
This podcast is for, an avenue to actually relay the story. So it's just not all the, the white noise that people hear.
Right.
You hear about a business community. You can let the world know, if you have somebody like Brian, what you're about. You can build on the core demographic. You can actually, let people know you're not the same business that you were. And that's another conversation we had today. Somebody might have came in 5 years ago when you were just starting off meal prep and you had clamshell style containers and, homespun labels. And you were out of stuff because you were selling as fast as it came in, and you couldn't produce it fast enough.
Right.
You didn't have I didn't have the infrastructure there. So there are people that will continually judge you for the past. Just like if you go to a high school reunion, you're still the knucklehead, that they met in junior high, right?
Right.
That's not the case. It's not the case for me.
Right.
Same knucklehead in junior high. It's not the case for Max Fit. I utilize Brian to show how we're leveling up. So we document style new equipment, new technology we invest in. And Brian has been a key driver and like continually keeping our upgrades, in front of the public. And that's very important in terms of your marketing. Whereas like if I put a post on my personal page, and a lot of customers are on my personal social media, they're like, Chris Hall, he's on the move. Well, how do they know that? Like, there's a lot of people grind in silence, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But for me, it's important that they know that I'm updating. I'm spending money on technology, on ways to make the brand better, food more flavorful, last longer.
Right.
Get it out there in front of people. So,
and then show them that, because if you don't,
thing, man.
Right. If you're not like, we do spend a lot of time and energy on just producing content. There's stuff that we have done that we've never even used because, we put the time and the energy in. Maybe we'll use it later, but, putting it out there in the world doesn't necessarily mean you're showing it to the right people. Like, most people have the misconception that the people that follow them on Instagram like everything that they do. Well, no, because the people that follow you on your Instagram are going to be, friends, family. That's the majority of your followers initially. And then you have to spend the time and the energy to find the people that are actually going to be, customers or clients in your business. And that takes time. And so you get all these likes in there, but that's your mom likes you and your cousin and all that stuff. Great job. But it's not really what the business is looking for. What the business is looking for is the person that's actually going to spend money with you, and that is different. And it takes people an understanding, like you have to be able to be relatable to your ideal client, and it takes time to identify who that person is. It takes time to craft the message for those individuals. You're going to have, typically a business is going to have between 3 to 5 avatars normally.
Sure.
And even like a, if you're a hairstylist, most hairstylists are going to deal with women, but you're going to have different ranges of women. You're going to have an older demographic that maybe doesn't do, that dye. They like to keep their hair shorter. That's a completely different customer than the person that's going to come in and get extensions, or the person that's going to get the blowout or whatever. I act like I know what I'm talking about. Like
seem to know way too much about this stuff.
So,
well, yeah,
my wife spends a lot of money on that shit, so.
I actually spend a lot of
money. Yeah.
You got to throw enough, shit against the wall sometimes and see what sticks, but it has to be well thought out shit that you throw against the wall. Right. And it's not just random.
Right.
But not everything you think will hit, right?
That's the problem with digital marketing is most people will try something like Facebook ads or Instagram or whatever.
For a week.
And then, or even a month, and they'll be like, it didn't work for me. Well, what'd you do? Well, I boosted a post on there. Well, let's talk about that.
Sure.
So most people, they try it because it's a fad, or they try it because they hear it's going to work for them, and then it doesn't work. They have the wrong people doing it for them. They don't understand it themselves. So yes, it might be an investment. It might hurt at first to invest in somebody that's going to do this for you, that knows what they're doing. You might go through a couple different people until you find somebody that you like, or somebody that actually does it well. But I can tell you that the people that do it well, this is my circle of individuals that the podcast and the things that I roll around in, the people that do it well, they all kind of do it very similar, but they know what they're doing, versus somebody that's just getting into it. And you don't know, you got to ask the right questions. And that's for another podcast. That's for a completely different set of time, because the right questions are when it comes to finding somebody that's going to help you with your marketing. Those are individually for your business. You can ask the same kind of questions, but not just like, well, when am I going to see results, or when's it going to happen, or how much is it going to cost? Those are questions that are dependent on your business. But most of the questions you're going to want to ask is like, well, do you have results from prior campaigns that you've worked for, other businesses like mine that you've worked for, or other businesses in general? Those are the questions you want to ask. So if somebody has results, has like, hey, if you want to see what I mean, it's no question, no denying it. If you want to see what I do, go check out here's the Shop Max Fit page if you want to see the videos. Here's this individual's, this business's page if you want to see the videos. Hey, you want to see ad stuff? I'm very protective over the results, but I can say if you want to know, like, if you've heard of Max Fit around here in this area, I've had a direct correlation with the business owner, Chris. The two of us have worked really hard to make it what it is today. So, that's kind of aside from itself. The next thing you would want to do is, once you find out who your ideal client is, how do you leverage that to generate more revenue? And the best way to do that is, like Chris said, is to figure out the lowest cost of entry, which is going to typically be Facebook. YouTube is pretty affordable. Facebook and Instagram. TikTok's affordable. TikTok's a little bit different. But we've even done things on like Hulu. I mean, you've had people reach out to you and say like, hey, I see your ad on TV.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, that's something that I also do, it's something that we also do. So, just to be seen kind of everywhere does take a little bit of time, does take a little bit of money. Results take a little bit of time, but eventually you can be what it was to put a TV ad on the local news station 10 years ago is what you can do on social media now. And you can become an overnight celebrity, not like an influencer celebrity, but an overnight local celebrity, because people will be like, oh, I saw you on YouTube, I saw you on Facebook, everywhere I go I see your face.
Sure.
And how many times does that happen for you?
All the time. Yeah.
Right. So I think that's going to be plenty of information.
Meat on the bone for you to enjoy right there. Yeah.
So here's the thing: make sure that you like, follow, subscribe, all the great things. Really, with the podcast, we really need you guys to subscribe and rate the podcast. If you want to work with Chris and I, we're going to start testing the waters with kind of some consulting stuff. So if you're interested and you fit into our demographic, you make $100 billion. No, I'm just kidding. If you're a business owner, you really want to kind of find out what we do and how we can help you as a business owner kind of grow your business, or you just have questions about anything that when it comes to what we do, what I've done for Chris, what Chris has done for me. Chris has done a lot of things for me as well, and how we can potentially take this to you. Reach out to us, send us a DM, or hit us up at mfempirepodcast@gmail.com.
Absolutely.
There's going to be a form on the website here shortly as well, so you can fill out the form. Go to the website mfempirepodcast.com and fill out the form, and we'll get in contact with you, and we'll figure out if we could be a good fit.
Sure.
So again, that's been another episode of
the MF Empire Podcast.
Everybody have a great day.
You too.
Deuces.
You too.